So we begin from where we have stopped. Which question? Do we start with 3B? Is it 3B or 4A? Monica, where do we begin? Monica, if you are hearing me, I'm asking, or we have done 3. Okay. So I start with question number 4. So question 4, Zaid Merchants is a newly established manufacturing enterprise that uses standard costing in its operations. The firm manufactures a product branded MX, which has a starting selling price of 120 per unit. Inventory is valued at standard cost. The standard variable cost of 1 unit of MX is as follows. So we have direct materials, direct labor, production overhead, and the total. The budget actual activity levels for the month of April were as follows. The actual sales and variable cost for the month of April were as follows. So we are given that, and we are told to get those variances and then to do the reconciliation between the actual and the budget profit. So what I'm going to do is to combine. We're going to have profits reconciliation. Statements. We have details. We have the formula. Then the value or the answer. Even I can have workings here. Then value. prepare a statement like that. So with that kind of statement, we always begin with budget profits. Budget profits. Now, budget profits is given as budget revenue minus budget costs. Budget revenue minus budget costs. So as you can see, according to our information number one, the budget units were 25,000 units. And the selling price is 120. You minus the budget costs, which is 25,000 multiplied by 92. You can see the 92 there. So give me the answer there, Monica. Give me the answer. I don't think so. The final answer, the profit. 25,000 times 120 minus 25,000 times 92. I'm getting 700,000. Good. Then we bring variance. Now variances, I want to start with the ones that are given here in the question and the examiner wants. Total materials. Total materials costs. So for the total material cost variance, it is given as standard material costs minus actual material costs. Standard material costs minus actual material costs. So how you get the standard cost, you go up there and find that we got 20. We got 20 shillings per material. Then you multiply by the actual units that were produced. the actual units that were produced. So we are told the actual units that were produced, they were 26,000. 26,000. You minus the actual variable, the actual material cost. The actual material cost, which is 5,800. 5,800. So what was that? You give me the answer. Give me the answer. Monica. The answer? Yeah, 12,800. 12,800, and it is adverse. You don't write it as negative. You should bring it as a positive value, but instead now you tell us it is adverse. It is adverse not because it is negative, but it is adverse because the actual cost is more than the standard cost. It's adverse because the actual cost is more than the standard cost. Huyo mwingine anaitwa total labor costs. That is the next one that we're supposed to bring. But the examiner here does not want you to bring the total as a single figure, but instead you bring it into its components. And the components are two. We have the labor rate and the labor efficiency. So labor rate. So labor rate variance. So the labor rate variance is given as standard rates minus actual rates. You multiply by actual hours. Standard rates minus actual rates. You multiply by actual hours. So now, the workings will be, ukienda hapo juu kwa standard, you find that 1 hour was supposed to be paid 8 shillings. 1 hour was supposed to be paid 8 shillings. Then if you go to where we have the actual, you find we were paid, or we paid 21,000, and this one was paid in respect to 150,000. So that tells you how much was the actual rate per hour. You multiply this by the actual hours, 150,000. You multiply by that. So work on that and tell me work on that and give me the answer. Yeah, 21,000 advance. It is 21,000 advance. It is advanced because the actual is more. Good. The next one is labor efficiency. labor efficiency. Now, labor efficiency is given as standard hours minus actual hours. You multiply by the standard rate. Standard hours minus actual hours. You multiply. And remember this formula. Actual hours minus standard. So either way, it works. And that's why I told you the sign is not important. Whether it is negative or positive, that is not important. Okay. Sasa, the standard hours, you will get them like this. Ukiangalia hapo kwa standard, every unit was supposed to take us 6 hours. So you are supposed to say 6 times the actual units that were produced. 26,000 you minus the actual costs, the actual costs. Sorry, the actual hours. The actual hours are 150,000. 150,000, and the standard rate is 8. The standard rate is 8. Yeah, 48,000 favorable. It is 48,000 favorable. 48,000 favorable. Let's go to total variable overheads. Total variable overheads. Total variable overheads is given as standard variable overheads minus actual variable overheads. Standard variable overheads minus actual variable overheads. Variable overheads. So now, the standard is that we were supposed to have 24. So 24 you multiply by the actual units that were produced. 26,000. 26,000 minus the actual value of overheads of 614,000. 614,000. So the answer is 10,000 units, and that is favorable. 10,000 favorable. So at that point, we have answered what the examiner required in part A. So proceeding with the requirements of part B, the next one that you bring is called sales price variance. Sales price variance. Now, sales price variance is given as budget selling price minus actual selling price. You multiply by actual unit sold. Budget selling price minus actual selling price. You multiply by actual units sold. So the budget selling price is 120. The actual selling price should be 29,95,000. You divide by 25,000 units that were sold. You divide by 25,000 units that were sold, multiplied by the actual units that were sold, 25,000. 25,000. Yes, 5,000. 5,000. The next one is supposed to be. The next one is supposed to be sales volume. Sales volume. Now, sales volume is given as budget sales units minus actual sales units. You multiply by standard contribution margin. Budget sales units minus actual sales units. You multiply by standard contribution margin. So the budget sales units were 25,000. Actual sales units were also 25,000 units. But the standard contribution margin is 120 minus 92. 120 minus 92, because 92 was the variable cost, and this one is 0. This one is 0. Now, the next one that is supposed to be brought is fixed overheads. Fixed overheads volume. Now, the question has not mentioned to us about the fixed overheads. But because there are stocks, you can see we were producing 26, but we sold 25. So there is a closing stock of 1,000. That one needs to be factored because we have put its cost here. We have put its cost. Now to be 26 upper, 26 upper, 26 upper. So the 1,000 is included in this one. But for the revenue, we have used the 25. You can see here, you can even see here, it is 25. So we must get away of rectifying that. So this one is given as budget output units minus actual output units. Budget output units minus actual output units. You multiply by budget fixed overheads per unit. Budget fixed overheads cost per unit. Budget fixed overheads cost per unit. So this one, we don't have data for it. We don't have data for it. So we will first of all skip. So that when we skip, we come and get now the last value here, which is called actual profit. Which is called actual profit. Which is called actual profit. So actual profit is given as actual revenue minus actual cost. Actual revenue minus actual cost. So if you take the actual revenue, that is 29,95,000. You minus 5, that's 2,800. Minus 12,21,000 minus 614,000. You can either combine them or you can put all of them. You can either combine or put all of them. So 29,95,000 minus 5, that's 2,800 minus 12,21,000 minus 6,14,000 is 627,200. 627,200. 627,200. 627,200. So when you're doing the reconciliation, the formula is you get the budget profit, you add the favorable variances, you less the advanced variances, and the answer is the actual profit. Budget profits plus the favorables minus the advance, you get the actual profit. So this is what we are going to do. So to answer part 2, 700,000, you minus 12,800, you minus 21,000, you add 48,000, you add 15,000. So first of all, you say equals. You can see there is a difference of it's giving us 729. So you minus 627,200. So that tells you we have a figure of 1 or 2,000 here that is supposed to be advanced. A figure of 1 or 2,000 that is supposed to be advanced. I hope you have followed that. The fixed overhead volume is one should be advanced. Hiyo ndio inasimamia the closing stock. Are we okay, Monica? Good. So that is how you are supposed to do a reconciliation. So in a question, in an exam, you don't have to do the double work. You can read all of them the way you believe. You will have solved everything. You will have solved everything. So I think we had agreed to look at the theory on your own. So if that is true, then I should go to handle question 5C. I should go to handle question 5C. So question 5C. is on process costing. So we read Big Speeds Limited operates several production processes involving the mixing of ingredients to produce bulk animal food feedstuffs. Its main product, branded HW, undergoes two processes, process 1 and 2. The following information relates to process 2 for the period under consideration. We have the cost incurred, transfer from process 1, raw materials cost, conversion cost, opening work in progress. Production is opening work in progress. We have that, which were that. Transfers from process 1, completed output, closing work in progress, 100% from process 2. Additional information is that normal wastage of materials, including product transferred from process 1, which occurs in the early stages of process 2 after all materials have been added, is expected to be 5% of input. Process 2 conversion costs are our portion to units of good output. Wastage materials have no saleable value. You are told to come up with process 2 account for the period using FIFO method. So let's begin by drawing process 2 account. So this one we begin with details on this side. Then we have units. Then we have unit costs. Then we have amounts. Then we have details. We have units. We have unit costs. And then we have the amount. And this is now what we call process 2 account. Process 2 account. Process 2 account. Have we finished drawing? Have you finished drawing? Good. So we can begin. So we always begin with opening work in progress. opening work in progress. So the opening work in progress, according to the production there, the units are 1,200. 1,200. And the cost is 309. 309. No, 300. 900. 300, 900. That is the cost. Then we get transfers from process one. From process one. So the units that came from process one, they are 112,000. 112,000. And they came in at a cost of 18 million 770,400. 770,400. Then from there we have raw materials. These ones we call them, or we just call them raw materials or added materials. Raw materials, we are told the amount is 6 million, not 6, 4 million. The amount is 4 million 797 200. 797 200. We have conversion work, conversion costs. Conversion cost we are told is 6 million 317 600. 317 600. Opening work in progress, that one we already have done. The next thing that you are supposed to bring is normal loss here. Normal loss. So normal loss, we are told it is that is according to information one. Normal wastage of materials, including products transferred from process one, which occurs in the early stages of process two after all materials have been added, is expected to be 5% of input. So this will be 5% of the inputs. So the inputs are in this one, 112,000. So you don't include the opening work in progress. Opening work in progress is not part of the input. It is what was already there yesterday. It's already what was there in that process. So tell me 5% of 112,000 is how many units? 5,600. Yes. It's 5,600. And then we are told wastage materials, according to information 3, wastage materials have no resale value. They have no resale value. So this is 0 and that is 0. They have no resale value. Okay, the next thing is the transfers. That is the completed output, finished goods, finished goods. So the finished goods, we are told they were 105,400. 105,400. Then down here we have another space kidogo, so that in case there will be a balancing figure, itawekwa hapa ama hapa. So the closing work in progress, we are told it is 1,600. It is 1,600. So you seek to balance the account. You seek to balance the accounts. So in balancing, getting the total here, you realize this is 1,200 plus 112,000 minus 5,600 minus 105,400 minus 1,600. So there is a balancing figure of 600, which is on this side. It's a balancing figure, and that balancing figure then must be abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. So that this is now 1,200 plus 112,000. This is 113,200, and the same case here, 113,200. Those are the totals. So that is the first thing, to ensure that the units columns are balanced. The units columns are balanced. Teresa, how are you? Good. Karibu sana. So from there, you draw what we call statements of equivalent units. Equivalent units using FIFO method. Statement of equivalent units using FIFO method. So in these statements, we have details. We have details. And for details, we begin with the opening work in progress. Then we bring new inputs, completed, new inputs completed. Then we will bring the abnormal loss, Then we bring closing work in progress. Closing work in progress. And then the units. The space here to be a challenge. So allow me to change the space. Allow me to change the logo so that it's happy to share. So hapa nilikuwa na raw materials, conversion costs, so for the raw material, equal 47.97 200, and this one was 6317 600. So I think I recognize that just kidogo. Let me adjust so that I have enough space. I estimated my space. So normal loss is 0.05 times 112,000. And that is the one we reported 5,600. And then we had said it has no resale value. So the amount is 0. You declare the finished goods, which were followed by abnormal loss of 600, which were followed by closing work in progress. Closing work in progress. Completed, there were 105,400. 105,400. The closing was 1,600. So I think now with that, I should be able to have good space for what I require to do. What tunachora now, statements of equivalent units using FIFO method. Using FIFO method. We began here, this is details. And when we're using FIFO, you bring opening work in progress. Opening work in progress. Then you bring new inputs completed. New inputs completed. New inputs completed. Then you bring abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. Then you bring the closing work in progress, and that will give you equivalent units. Equivalent units. Equivalent units. That's what you have. Equivalent units are on their own. Then you bring the previous costs. No, here you don't bring the previous. When you're using FIFO, just bring the current costs. The current costs. So here there is no revenue. Less scrap revenue. Scrap revenue. Let me give you the format. It should be scrap revenue. Once you raise the scrap revenue, you get net costs, and then you get cost per unit. Cost per unit. Cost per unit. That is the format. When you are drawing the statement of equivalent units, anytime using FIFO, that is the design. We begin with the opening work in progress, new inputs completed, abnormal loss. Now, these abnormal loss can also be abnormal gain. Can also be abnormal gain. So, kama ilikuwa huku, we call it abnormal gain. Then closing work in progress so that you get equivalent units. Then you bring the current costs. You left the scrap revenue if it is there. And then you get the net cost, then you get the cost per unit. So the other column that follow, it is the physical units. Physical units. So the physical units, you get them like this. We normally prefer to start here so that this one shows us how far we should go. Now this one, you get the units that are completed, 105, 400, minus the opening work in progress, 1,200, 1,200. So that gives you 104, 200. 104, 200. 104, 200. Then I'm saying that unaleta 1,200. Then here we have the abnormal loss of 600, and we have the closing of that. So Sasa, the next thing that you bring are these costs. This is that are here. So we are going to bring process one. So you bring process one. Then we bring raw materials. We bring raw materials here. And then we bring conversion. We bring conversion. We bring conversion. We bring conversion. So that is the format of the statement of equivalent units. The format of the statement of equivalent units. It always begins with details. Then we have the physical units. Then these ones that follow are these costs, excluding the one for the opening. These costs that are here, excluding the one from the opening work in progress. So let us start now to get the units. For the opening work in progress, we are told up there it is 100% complete apart from process 2 conversion costs. And remember, I have said the opening work in progress are the units that you tumeanza jana. So we are not starting today. We started yesterday. It is only that yesterday we were not able to complete them. So we are completing them today. So by yesterday, materials were complete here. So there is nothing that we are bringing here that is fully complete. It is also complete here. So the only part that remains is conversion, which we are told is 50%. So 50% of 1200 is, if you have space, maybe you could also squeeze to say that 50% of 1200, that is 600 if you have space. 50% of 1200, that is 600. Then, for these ones that are new inputs, the new inputs that have been completed, they are units tumeanza kufanyia kazi leo na tukamaliza. So if that is the case, they are 100% complete. They are 100% complete. So if they are 100%, you put 104, 200, 104, 200, and 104, 200. 104, 200. The next thing is the abnormal loss. Now, some questions will tell you abnormal loss is complete to what extent. Abnormal loss is complete to what extent. But some questions will be quiet. Like now, this one is quiet regarding the completion levels of the abnormal loss. When the question is quiet, you take that the abnormal loss is 100% complete. You take it is 100% complete. So this 600 that get hapa 100%, 100%, and 100%. When the question is quiet, you take that the abnormal loss is 100% complete. For the closing work in progress, we are told it is 100% complete from process 2, apart from process 2 conversion cost, which was 75%. So that means here it is 100%, where it's 1600, even here 1600, but here it is 75%. So 75% of 1600, 0.75 times 1600 is 1200. Is 1200. So let us add those units. Let us add those units. So here I'm getting 106, 600. 106, 600. Then 104, 200 plus 600 plus 1600 is 106, 400. Then it's the same thing here. 106, 400. This one you don't bother to add. This one you should not bother to add. Should not bother to add. Then you now bring the current costs. So for the process 1, it's 18,770, 18,770, 400. This is 4,797,200. This is 6,317,600. Now the scrap revenue kama tungekuwa nayo, it would have been here, this zero here. So that one is always subtracted in the first one here. So we will come and say this is zero here. Now tungekuwa na another figure, that's where it should have been. So the net starts at the back 18,770,400. This one haina net revenue, haina cost, scrap revenue. So you bring 4,797,200. Here you bring 6,317,600. Then you divide it. You maybe this one you can call it E, and this one you call it N. Then this one we say it is N, you divide by E. That's how we are going to arrive at it. It is N, you divide by E. So tukianza hapa utasema 18,770,400 divided by 106,400. I'm getting 176.414. Let's work with 3 decimals. Let's work with 3 decimals. Then 47,97,200. You divide by 106,400. I'm getting 45.086. Alafu 63,17,600. You divide by 106,600. I'm getting 59.265. So are we together up that point? Teresa and Monica? Good. Let's now proceed to do valuation per unit. Valuation per unit. Valuation. Valuation per unit. Now, in the valuation per unit, I can even start here, closing work in progress. Closing work in progress. So for closing work in progress, unakuja hapa. Unaangalia in the process 1, closing work in progress, it is 100% complete. So if it is 100% complete, unachukua hii cost yote 176.414 plus ikikuja hapa kwa raw materials, it is also 100% complete. So you take the whole of this cost 45.086 plus ukikuja kwa conversion, it is 75% complete. So you take 75 of this. So plus 0.75 times 59.265. So out of that, give me the answer. 176.414 plus 45.086 plus 0.75 times 59.265. I'm getting 265.94875. So that figure, you bring it here. 265.94875. Then you multiply by 1600. You multiply by 1600. That will give us 425,518. You take it there, and then you multiply. The next one is abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. So the abnormal loss is complete everywhere. It is complete everywhere. You can see 100, 100, 100. So we are going to take 176.414 plus 45.086 plus 59.265. So 176.414 plus 45.086 plus 59.265. I'm getting 280.765. So here you narrate hapa 280.765 multiplied by 600. You should get 168,459. $168,459. Then we value the completed goods. So in the completed or finished goods, so for the finished goods, we normally have two components. The first one is opening work in progress. So for the opening work in progress, you can see here it is 0. So it is 0 times this, 0 times this, and this one times this. So you only take where there are units. You take 600 times 59.265. Only where there are units, that is 600 times 59.265. It is that 5,559. That 5,000. Then you come to the new inputs. The new inputs, you take the total of this. The total, which is you take the units 104, 200, which is multiplied by this cost 176.414 plus 45.086 plus 59.265. So utasema ni 280.765 times 104,200. It is 29,255,713. So the total and then per unit. So if you add here 35,559, you get 29,291,272. You divide by 105,400. I'm getting 277.906. So here you unaleta hapa 277.906 and the total is 29,291,272. And that's all. That's all. So if you are okay, sema okay. Kama you are not okay, ulize swali. Okay, Monica is okay. Yeah, even Teresa. So let us now proceed to the next paper. That is the paper of 2019. Question 1. In question 1B. So question 1B inasoma, Dirika Limited makes and sells a single product called Delicious. It is currently operating at 80% of full capacity, producing 112,000 units per month. The total monthly cost at the current level of operation are 611,000. At 100% capacity, total monthly cost would be 695,000, while fixed cost will be the same per month at all levels of capacity, between 80% and 100%. At the normal selling price of the product, the contribution sales ratio is 60%. A new customer has offered to buy 25,000 units of the product each month at 20% below the normal selling price. Dirika Limited estimates that for every 5 units that it sells to this customer, it will lose 1 of its current monthly sales to other customers. So we are told to get the variable costs per unit of product, delicious, and the total fixed cost. So for you to separate the costs, now this question is so we are going to have this. We are going to have it this way. Capacity. Now capacity, we have percentage, and then the units. And then the units. So we are told at 80%, the units are 112. So then 100 will be what percent? It will be 100 times 112,000. 112,000. You divide by 80. So tell me how many units are those? How many units are those? Yes, good to Teresa, 140,000. It's 140,000. And then the other thing that we will bring is the costs, total costs. Total costs. Now, total costs, we are told at 80%, it is 611,000. And when you go to 100, it is 695,000. When you go to 100, it is 695. So the next thing that you are supposed to use is separation of costs. Separation of costs. We use high-low method. Anytime you are told to separate costs between fixed and variable, not unless the examiner has told you otherwise, you should always use the high-low method. You should always use the high-low method. So in using the high-low method, the format is A plus BX is equal to Y. Y is equal to A, BX. So ukitumia the high, utasema A plus 140,000 B is equal to 695,000. This is the high. Then hii ingine utasema A plus 112,000 B. This is equal to 611,000. This is the one for row. That is for row. Then you seek to solve by subtracting. You seek to solve those two equations by subtracting. You seek to solve those equations by subtracting. So this one will be 28,000 B is equal to 84,000. So B should be shillings. If you divide 84, if you divide 84 by 28, it is shillings 3. And this one, it is the variable cost. Variable costs per unit. That is the variable cost per unit. The variable costs per unit. Variable cost per unit. Then I will come here and say A plus 140,000 times 3 is equal to 695,000. And based on that, I get that A. So if I multiply this by 140,000 equals, let me say 695,000 minus my answer is 275,000, and this is the total fixed cost. Total fixed cost. So that is how you separate. That is how you separate costs. You separate costs in that style. So angalia what the examiner wanted. Number 1, alikuwa anasema the variable cost per unit and the total fixed cost. So you have to be cheap. Number 2, the current normal sales price per unit and the contribution per unit at this price. So that one is about CVP analysis. Is CVP analysis. Now, for us to be able to answer that question, we will need to use the knowledge that we are told contribution to sales ratio. Now, contribution to sales ratio is given as contribution margin. It's given as contribution margin. You divide by selling price. You divide by selling price. That is how we get the contribution sales ratio. So if we are looking for the selling price, we will come here and say selling price should then be equal to contribution sales ratio times contribution margin. Contribution margin. But now, kuna kitu ingine hapa. First of all, this contribution sales ratio, it is also what we generally call contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. That is the one that we use more. Sasa, already tunauliza utafute selling price. Na tunajua hii, lakini hatujui contribution margin. So how do you navigate? You navigate by saying recall or remember contribution margin ratio plus variable contribution ratio, it should be equal to 1. Contribution margin ratio plus variable contribution ratio should be equal to 1. And therefore, variable contribution ratio should be 1 minus contribution margin ratio. 1 minus contribution margin ratio, or the contribution sales ratio. So this will be 1 minus the contribution sales ratio is 0.6. So this gives you 0.4. So now, variable contribution ratio is given as variable costs. You divide by selling price. Variable contribution ratio is given as variable cost. You divide by selling price. So we will then say thus selling price should be it will be variable costs. It will be variable costs. You divide by VCR. You divide by VCR. So we already know our variable cost from this. It is 3 shillings. It is 3 shillings. You divide it by the variable contribution ratio. Variable contribution ratio is 0.4. So from that, tell me what is the selling price. Tell me what is the selling price from that. 7.5. According to Teresa, is 7.5. Yes, even Monica. So, hence, the other thing that we've been told to get is contribution margin. Now, we know so well that if you are looking for contribution margin, it is the selling price. It is the selling price you minus the variable cost. If you are looking for contribution margin, it is the selling price minus variable cost. So then this becomes 7.5 minus 3, and this gives us shillings 4.5. Shillings 4.5. And you can confirm for curiosity purposes, if you are to get this 4.5, you divide by 7.5, you should find the 0.6. Can you confirm? This 4.5, if you divide by 7.5, is that 0.6? According to this formula. The 4.5 you divide by 7.5. Is it taking you back? Yes. Yes. So the next thing to now is to advise the management on whether or not to accept the offer from the. So that question. It is coming from what we call special pricing division. Special pricing division. Special pricing division. Special pricing division. Sasa tunaambiwa what? A new customer has offered to buy 25,000 units of each product each month at 20% below the normal price. Erica Limited estimates that for every 5 units that it sells to its customer, it will lose 1 unit of its current monthly sales to other customers. To lose. So first of all, lost units. Lost units. We are told this will be 25,000. You divide by 5. Because for every 5 you sell, you are going to lose 1. So that means we are going to lose 5,000 units. We are going to lose 5,000 units. We are going to lose 5,000 units. So, special price per unit. These guys are saying they want to pay us 20% below. So it is 1 minus 0.2 multiplied by the normal selling price. The normal selling price is equal to about 7.5. So tell me, these guys are willing to pay us how much? 80% of 7.5. They are willing to pay us how much? $6. Good. So it is $6. So when you are making the special price, the special pricing decision, you compare the relevant costs. So we will take relevant revenue. Relevant revenue will be 6 times. These guys are saying they want to pay 25,000, rather they want 25,000 units. So it is 6 times 25. So they will be paying us 150,000. They will be paying us 150,000. Then you say less relevant costs. Relevant costs. So relevant costs are the costs that will change because of that decision. The costs that will change because of that decision. And the first relevant cost is the variable cost. So we will talk of variable production costs. Variable production costs. So the variable production costs will be 3 shillings, because that is what we have gotten as variable cost, multiplied by 25,000. That gives us 75,000. Then we will have something called lost contribution. Lost contribution. Lost contribution. When we decide to make this unit, we are going to lose 5,000 units. So, and every unit is giving us a contribution of 4.5. So we take 4.5, you multiply by the units that will be lost, 5,000 units that will be lost. So the same 4.5 times 5,000 is 22,500. Now, when you compare those ones, when you compare those figures now, when you compare, you get a figure that we call net gain. So the net gain, you will be saying 150,000, actually 75,000 minus the answer. There will be a net gain of 2,500. So what advice do you give to these people? Should they accept or they should reject? Should they accept or they should reject? What do you think? Want to hear from you? Should they accept or they should reject? Net gain, this net gain, tumeichukua as 150,000 revenue minus this relevant cost of 75,000 minus 22,500. That's how we have gotten the net gain. Teresa, that okay? Yeah. In other words, you are supposed to compare these two costs, these ones with the revenue. Kama cost ni kidogo, either the cost will be kidogo ama kubwa than the revenue. So what do you think? Should they accept the offer? Should they accept the offer or they should reject it? You're not sure. This one is they should accept because they will make a profit. They should accept because they will make a profit. They should accept because they will make a profit. So we can call it a day and a juncture. We call it a day and a juncture. We had lost a class, or I think last week, we were supposed to have 2 lessons. This coming Saturday, between 11 to 1. Can you be available? So that we make up there. 11 to 1. Can you be available? Teresa, no. Okay, now. When do we have it? What if I said you are recorded? What if I, you know, at the morning you have classes, You have other classes. You have other classes. What if I said you are recorded version, Teresa? Okay, yeah, then we can have it that way. We can have it that way. Okay, so we now meet on Friday. We meet on Friday, then still on Saturday. So we meet on Friday. Thank you. Have a good day.